Hello and welcome, fellow futures traders. My name is Curtis from Beyond Backtesting. Today we're going to be talking about trading performance. And we're going to be talking about how trading performance pursued the wrong way can be one of the biggest causes for independent traders to blow out. Okay? And this is trying to improve my trading performance led to many of my worst losses. And I'm going to show you how to pursue trading performance the right way, which can have the opposite effect, right? So there's a right way and a wrong way to pursue trading performance. But many of us, I'll say many traders, the goal of improving your trading performance, the goal of mastering trading is maybe your biggest obstacle, maybe your biggest block to actually succeeding at trading. I'm going to show how that works. I'm going to start with an example. And this is at 1080p and I'm at 8K, so it's going to be a little hard to draw this, but I'm going to show you an example first, showing just the raw reality of what happens when you take a trading performance mindset without the proper plan. So let's imagine this green line. Let's see if this works. Okay, that's a little bit lag there. Let's imagine this green line is your trading goals. Okay, and let's imagine this black line is your trading performance. Okay, let's try to make them about equal distance. Okay, get the point. Now, let's imagine this red line, okay, is where you blow out. Okay, this is your blowout line. Okay, does that look reasonable to you? May look reasonable. Here's the thing about trading performance. There's something in everything known as regression to the mean. Okay, and so here's an example where you regress to the mean. You're above. Let's say you started. Your performance started down here. Okay. And but you blown out way up here. So actually, you improved your performance. This is the distance. This is the distance, right? That you improved your performance, but your blowout line increased above that line. Okay, so when you regress to the mean, right? Now, if you could have survived, maybe you could have got it and went on up, right? But because your blowout line was tracking to your performance, as soon as your performance dropped, right here you blew out. Okay, so this is the way. Okay, I'll remove some of these lines. Okay, this example is how many independent traders pursue trading, and this is why they blow out. Okay, let me show you the right way, the proper way to pursue trading performance, what it looks like. Okay. This is your goal. Let me make this clear. Apologies, I've had a lot of allergies today. Here's your goal. Make it green, okay? Okay. Just trying to get that line off. And your stop, your blowout, what do you want to call it, is here, okay? And just like before, we'll say, here's your trading performance, okay? And then here's your reversion to the mean, okay? Notice you didn't hit your stop because your goal remained constant. You didn't increase when your trading performance reverted to the mean, right? And then hopefully maybe it goes back and does something like that, right? But even though you're reverted, you were still well above. You were actually still above your goal, so you still met your goal. Okay, and this is the way most traders pursue trading performance on the left. This is the way you pursue it on the right. Now, what does that mean? Keep your goal constant. Okay, I'm going to tell you how to do it first. With if you're doing tryouts, let me just say that Apex Trader Funding, I believe the 80% off may have ended, but go ahead and check and see if you can take advantage of it. If it hasn't ended, you got like 2 days on it. Okay, I think it's either the 9th or the 12th. I have to double check that. But if you know, this is basically the last weekend to take advantage of the 80% off first month, 80% off recurring. Use my affiliate link down below. You can see if you can. It's a flash sale. See if it takes. If you want to take advantage of it. But I'm going to show you first the example of the prop example. So let's say you're doing Apex Trader Funding. Okay, you pick a goal that you consider very reasonable to hit, very trivial. Okay, for me that goal is $100. Okay, now obviously nothing is easy. This is where I kind of misspoke in my last video. You try to give yourself a goal where there's no excuse, but you still have to treat it like it's serious business, because your risk also has to be really tight when you have a small goal. So it kind of balances in that respect. But so you know, in trading, I could probably put up, you know, so you pick a goal. For me, let's say it's $100. Okay, it's $100 per account. Okay, I'm not going to draw it because it looks bad, but $100 per account. Okay, that $100, right? People have this idea of scaling up. If you approach it this way, that your goal should not change for a long time. Okay, not saying it can't go up eventually, but it's pretty much like I don't have any intention for, you know, and I don't have any intention of trying to make 200 per day. It's always $100 for me. Okay. I'm always targeting $100 per account, and as part of my plan, like 6 months from now, I don't have a plan of doing $200 or $300 per day. It's still $100 per day, but what you do is you take 10 accounts, you sign up for 10 accounts. Okay, that $100 per day becomes $1,000 per day. Okay, everything's going well, I'll get 10 more accounts, and that will become 2,000. But at no point does my goal increase above 100 as I build my capital up. In fact, because 100 is a little much, so actually it'll be going down. So my goal will be going down in relation to my buffer. So actually, this is what it will actually look like. You know, this is my goal, right? Over time, right? Let's do it this way, okay? Okay. This is what it actually looks like. Here's my goal, right? And you know, or let's say that's my drawdown I have. Let's just say that, not my goal, but this is my equity in my account. Drawdown, you don't want that. Drawdown stays. Drawdown stays constant because I'm not increasing my in relation to my account. I got more and more buffer. Now, so just to recap, you set a goal where you have no excuses not to meet that goal, right? If you can trade, you can meet the goal. For me, I chose $100 per account, okay? Then you increase your accounts, and you don't change the goal, so you don't have this idea of I'm going to go from 100 to 200 to 300 to 400 to 500. Now, eventually, I may go to 200, right? Eventually, but it's not part of my plan, because if I can do 100 per 10 accounts, my plan is to get 20 accounts. Okay, so that $1,000 a day becomes $2,000 a day, and I didn't change anything. Didn't change anything about my trading, right? It's still exactly the same. It's still $100 per day. So does it get any harder? So this is the way, right? You start with one. You start with a modest goal, a very modest goal per account, 50, 100, probably no more than 200, right? Because you want to start with something where you say, okay, I can do 300 per day. How can you be consistent? Think about this. How can you be consistent? Consistency is something you can do every day. It's not something that you are barely able to do. So what we're going to do, the right way to pursue performance is you're always working on your performance. Let me make this clear too. Just because you got a small goal doesn't mean you don't work on your performance. You're always working on your trading performance, okay? But you're not changing your goals. This is a really big thing, guys. This is really big. This is going to change your trading. And but you say, so that's if you want to do the trader tryouts, the prop funding. Use my affiliate link down below. But you say, well, I don't want to do prop stuff, right? I have my own capital. This don't apply to me. Well, it still does. I'm going to show you how. If you have your own account, what you do is you determine in advance how much you determine what's reasonable. Let's say you determine that you determine that you can make, let's say you determine you're going to start with apologies here. It's again, I'm working on a very tiny screen in relation to what I have to work with. Let's say you start with a goal of making $100 per day on a 10K account, okay? Then that 100 per day, it could be on the 5K account, right? It's whatever you determine, up to your risk limits, up to your abilities. It never changes, okay? What I mean by that is that so when your account grows, right, to, let's say, let's do it the 10K example. Although really you could probably do it on 5K. I mean, these are like $2,500 accounts. Let's just say 5K. Okay, we'll do 10K. It doesn't really matter, right? We'll do 10K. That's like 1% on 100. So here's the deal. Okay, so say your account grows to 20K. Okay, what are you trying to make? You're trying to make $200 per day. Okay. Okay. And once you increase your account, and then once your account increases to 100K, you're doing 1,000 per day, 1%. Okay. But it never changed. If you break that 100K up into 10 accounts, right, you have, what, 10, right? You got 10K accounts. So that's the same as doing 100 times 10, right? This is the key to it, guys, right here, okay? And likewise, if your performance drops, right, let's say your performance drops, let's say you do this, and you build up to making 1,000 per day on your 100K, okay? And your performance takes you take a drawdown, so things start working well. You're doing 90K. Your count drops to 90K. Okay, now you drop your size down to 900 per day, right? That's your instead of the one trying to do 1,000, you try to do 900. So it's always moving in lockstep with your account size. You're not trying to do more and more and more, which when you have the reversion to the mean, which will happen, right? And you'll hopefully stay above, and I think a lot of traders do. I mean, and this is why they get frustrated, because they will have improved, right? When you drop back down, right, you've improved, but now you can't trade because because you got stopped out here. Okay, so you improved, but you did not maintain. Okay, now. So that's the math behind this. But let me talk about the psychology, because I said I would talk about the psychology aspects, I think, right? For traders who want to do well, who want to get better, who want to master the craft, unfortunately, you probably have a very narrow, and if you're struggling, if you're making a lot, giving back in the end of the day, if you're doing up and down, you have a narrow understanding of what performance means. Okay, you have a narrow understanding, and I know this because I've been there where I'm trying to improve my performance. So after I've hit let's say what would have been my goals in the day, I keep trading, and I keep trading for 3 reasons. I kept trading for 3 reasons. Let's go over this. Let me bring up a notepad. So what are the reasons I kept trading? Okay, one, I wanted to work on my performance, right? I thought, okay, I'm going to work on my performance. So after I hit my goals, I don't want to waste a day of opportunity to trade to increase my performance, right? How performance mindset goes wrong. Let's just say that, okay? What you're doing wrong. So, I wanted to work on my performance, so I justified it. I'm going to lose this opportunity to trade this evening session, right? I want to work on my performance. 2, I wanted to prove myself, right? It's kind of this deep down thing. I want to prove myself, and that's also why I took big swings and I did things that weren't smart. Because, and let me just say, if you are developing your trading, don't listen to anyone who says don't trade on the simulator. Don't listen to anyone, because the number one thing for a trader is preserve your capital. This is the number one rule: preserve your capital. Why do you think I'm doing Apex Trader Funding instead of using my capital? Because as long as you have capital, you can be a trader. There's nobody who qualifies traders. Okay, there's no certification agency, right? There's nobody who says, okay, stamp on it, you're a trader, you're not a trader. Only one thing determines if you're a trader, that's if you have money, if you have capital. Okay, that's the one thing. Don't matter how good you are. Okay, so you got to preserve that capital. And trying to prove yourself is the worst thing, because who you're proving, you're not going to prove it to anybody. Nobody's going to be there when you prove yourself. Nobody's going to be around the clap. There's no crowds. There's no nothing. Okay, but if you lose your money, right, now you can't trade. So that's really important. And 3, I didn't have an understanding of my edge. Okay, this is the big one, and this is lack of confidence. Okay, this also is lack of confidence. Okay, I didn't have an understanding of my edge, and this is a complicated one because it manifests in different ways, and there's different excuses given for this. And one of the things I would say was that if I have an edge, I try to be really statistical about it, right? I say if I have an edge, and I've seen that I've been trading well today, then there's no reason that you try to qualify things. So I try to give this impression my edge is statistical, right? You try to give this idea that you're doing something statistical. So it's like, if my edge is statistical, then there's no reason, even though I've been losing in the evenings, that I should stop because there's every trade's independent. You can see how well I've been doing in the morning. No, if you're losing in the evening, says something's wrong. You're losing in the evening. Maybe the market's different. There are some different behaviors, different tendencies in the evening, such as the trendiness, the flows, okay? But more than that, my edge wasn't statistical, okay? Now, this is a hard thing for me to embrace. My edge was understanding, okay? It's never statistical, okay? It's my understanding, okay? And here's the other thing. I would say, even if it is statistical, right, which maybe it is, we want to make it look like it's statistical, but even if it is statistical, right, for it to be statistical, every trade has to be independent, and not correlated to previous trade. And if you're trading, using any type of decision-making process, how can you say that something didn't influence you that you've already seen? But the bigger thing is, this all goes in together, okay? Trying to practice and just wanting to practice, right? And just loving to trade too much. Loving to trade too much. You just love to trade. There's a side of me that just loves to trade, right? I'll just get in there and trade. That side of me, that side of you, right, can be your nemesis. Right, and the 5th is not having an abundance mindset. This also leads to performance problems of a different nature, because this can lead to performance. Some traders believe you have to trade the open, right? And for me, that caused a lot of performance, stress, because it didn't work for me. Okay. And it just creates a lot of stress around that. And when you're stressed, you don't make good decisions. So I don't trade the open. I'll trade the morning session. I'll trade 1 o'clock. I trade whenever I want to, okay? Because I only need about an hour to an hour and a half to hit my goals, right? And I do want to come in before 1. I want to be, trade at 1 or something. But in the morning is typically very good, and I tend not to trade as much in the evening, right? But the point is that when you have an abundance mindset, you're not, taking bad trades, because when you can scalp, you have more opportunities. Okay, I miss a trade. Who cares? It's a scalp, right? Who cares? You miss it. And but this is the thing. So we got to, in order to fix your performance, you have to understand that performance in trading is not just your ability to trade. It's not just your ability to put on a trade. It's not just your ability to find a good trade. It's your ability not to trade. And this is the hardest thing about trading, guys. This is the hardest thing, is when it's easy to try to want to, when you think about performance as things that you can work on, right? I'm going to get better at this. I want to improve this. I'm going to work on this, because that's, as traders, we're motivated to work. But it's very hard when we think about the other side of performance. It's just things we don't do. We shut down. We don't trade. Okay. We stop trading at a loss limit. Okay, at our daily loss limit. We shut down when we've hit our targets. We don't try to trade all day. We don't trade when we're not in the mental state to trade well. We don't trade around the clock, right? We have as I was saying, I'll trade any hour of the active session, but I don't trade overnight because I see my performance wasn't good. It didn't work for me. So I don't go in and try to trade the overnight, okay? Because I found that didn't work for me. It wasn't conducive to my time, to my energy, to my schedule. Okay, so this is the thing that you're missing in performance. It's not just what you do; it's what you don't do. Right? You don't, do certain things, and that's hard. So what you can do to work on this, if you're in this stage where you're trying to improve, first you got to understand your edge and understand. This really, a lot of this is about trying to convince yourself. Like I was trying to convince myself I could trade. Like I'm going to trade all day to prove it. Not only I can trade in the morning, I can trade in the evening, I can trade, anything. And that you will develop performance with that type of mindset. You will get better. But the problem is do you have enough capital? Do you have enough energy to do that? And most of us don't. So what you can do to work on some of this stuff, if depending on where you're at, right? If this is your thing, then go to the sim, okay? Go to the simulator, okay? If you want to do that, go to the simulator, and understand that having, a what's that called? A hungry dog runs the fastest, something like that, right? The hungry dog, runs the fastest. So there is this idea too of restricting your trading so that you are ready to go, right? Like when you like a sports contest, when a team trains and they train, but right before the big event, they say take time off, take rest, because you won't be rested and raring to go for the event, which is for trading. It's every morning, every day, right? So, but you can work in the sim, right? And you can work to understand your edges, right? Reviews, back testing, lots of things you can do besides trading to work on your performance. So I hope this helps to see kind of why these things happen, right? Hope it helps. Thanks until next time.